What's up, folks? It's Parallax Abstraction, and welcome to another indie showcase. This is a fairly simple game I've got to show you today, but it's one that's pretty interesting in its own right. So this is Descent Vector, and this came across my radar during the most recent Steam Next Fest, at least most recent to when I recorded this. And it also got my attention because it's from a Canadian developer, and I always love showcasing stuff from my fellow Canuckians. And well, this interested me because it was pitched as a space-based endless runner. And I was like, I enjoy endless runners when they're well put together. You know, you usually see those on mobile devices, right? But on PC, I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? This could be interesting. And I like anything space-based, right? So I'm going to dive right into this because honestly, this is a really, really simple concept. The idea with this is, so there's a mission mode and an actual true endless mode. So this is the mission mode I'm in. And this is literally what you're doing. It's just like a typical endless runner. You're trying to make your way through the level, and the only controls you have are left, right, up, and down. I'm playing with a controller, obviously keyboard, no big deal whatsoever. And in the mission mode, your goal is to get to the end, and obviously you don't want to crash into stuff. And in the endless mode, well, it's endless. You go for as long as you can to compete for the highest score. That's pretty much it. But that's not a bad thing because endless runners, that's generally what they're all about. They're very, very simple, very easy for anyone to pick up and play. But the challenge is obviously lasting as long as you can, and the games or the levels in the games tend to get more complicated the longer the level runs for. So you have an ever-increasing challenge, and your aim is to try to get as far into that as you can. That's really what this is. So it's adhering to the ethos of endless runners very well, but it is applying this theme to it, as you can see. And as you can also see, I think it looks pretty good. I love the backgrounds in this, and the developer actually, when I reached out to him for a press code, he actually sent me wallpapers of the backgrounds that he has available. At the time, you could get them by subscribing to his newsletter. I don't know if that's still the case or not, but he handed those, he gave me those, which I thought was really, really cool, because I think the backgrounds in this look nice. And yeah, the visuals in this are relatively simplistic, but it looks good. It does the job quite well, I think, and this will probably run on just about anything. You know, I'm playing it on a 3080 right now, so needless to say, I'm a wee bit overpowered, perhaps. But I imagine you could run this on fairly entry-level hardware if you wanted to. And it's interesting, right? Because endless runners kind of started on mobile devices, and that's where they've always lived. And they work very well on that because the controls are very simple. All you really need is something where, you know, you just tap the screen or move a directional pad around, and that is the case with this as well. And I'm just going to show you here. So if you miss, that's what happens. Actually, pretty cool explosion that you run into when that happens. And what you can do is there's a little bit of customization that you can unlock here, which is that you can it's basically colorization for your drop pod here. So you unlock those by completing the mission mode or doing endless runner mode, and there are achievements in this as well. I've actually gotten most of them already. Now, here's the thing with this. I think this is well put together, and I think what the dev was going for is actually pretty cool. I'm going to pick an endless mode here and show you this. But you have to know what you're getting into with this in the sense that this is very limited on content. You saw that there were 4 different planets there. Yeah, there's only 4 planets. That's it. Each one has that mission mode, which really is more of a tutorial because you get to the end of it and that's it. So once you get to the end of it once, you know, it doesn't change itself up at all after that point. And so you go through those, and then you have the endless mode. And obviously, being an endless runner, that's really what the point of this is because endless runners have, you know, 2 key things, which is that they're simple to learn, hard to master. The endless part is obvious, they're endless, and the levels are randomly generated as you progress. So it's never the same run twice, and, you know, obviously it rewards persistent play, but it it's not something you can memorize your way through. And that's very much how this works. And I think if you play this in the mode that it's truly intended for, which is the endless mode, it's a good one of these. You know, it's the levels are randomly generated. The challenge, I will say, in the endless mode starts harder than the mission mode, and it only gets harder. It gets hard really, really quick. This does have online leaderboards. Now, I'm number 6 in the world right now, thank you very much, but, you know, that's because at the time I'm recording this game isn't out yet, so it's me and some other reviewers who are who are in there, so that's not all that impressive. And also in the endless mode, you're going to see there in the bottom right, you're not only going to see the distance I've traversed, but your speed, oh crap, your speed slowly increases as you go as well. So in addition to the levels getting harder in general, you've also got to contend with the fact that you are flying bit by bit faster and faster as you go. So there's that as well. And really there's not a lot much else to say about it. It's very, very simple. The one thing that does bum me out is that though this game does have online leaderboards, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to have, at least not that I can tell by the way the menu works, it doesn't have online leaderboards for each of the different planets. It's just 3, period. 2, so it's one global leaderboard encompassing all of the levels as opposed to one for each planet. Now, to be fair, each planet, I don't know if the difficulty actually is different between them or not. It might just be that each planet is basically just a different background. So that may be the case, and if so, then I suppose it doesn't really matter, but I feel like that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. I feel like if the planets don't have any variance from them other than appearance, that it would have been cool if there could have been either additional hazards or different things that differentiate each of the levels that could make them, you know, harder, either harder or just a varied kind of challenge. Maybe not that one's necessarily harder than the other, but that if you go into one level, you can expect certain types of things, and you go into another one, you could get different types of things. Just a way to mix it up a little bit. And then those levels would be leaderboarded independently. Whereas right now, you've only got the one global leaderboard. You know, that's one suggestion I would make. You're gonna have to really judge it on the in terms of the value proposition for this. I think at its asking price, this isn't too bad if you're someone who's into endless runners and is really into sort of the zen of an endless runner, where you'll sit here and potentially play it for hours at a time, where you're just going to keep retrying, and you're really chasing that score. Like, you know, like I'm only a few 100 meters behind the next guy on the leaderboard. I'm going to sit here and grind it out and get good at it and beat the guy, you know? If you're into that, I think you could get a lot of value and indeed a lot of playtime out of this. If you're someone for whom you play an endless runner for a little while and then kind of move on, I think the price for this, given the fact that there's only 4 planets, 1 game mode, and very little customization, and seemingly no real difference between the levels, at least in terms of the leaderboards, I think that's going to be a tall order for some people. I'm actually enjoying this. If I paid full price for this, how would I feel about it? It's hard to say, because I do like endless runners, and this is very good for the zen effect of just, you know, you just keep retrying over and over and over again, and you feel a little bit better as you progress. One other thing I think I would have liked to see as well on the subject of leaderboards is, I don't know what this is formally called, but there are games out there that have leaderboards built into them where it shows you as you're playing how far behind the next person in line you are. So i.e., say, I don't know, say 2,000 meters was what the person above me in the leaderboard did. It would actually show that above the progression meter there on the left side, so that you would know how close you got, and you know how hard, you know, how much more effort you have to put in order to reach that next position. I think that's a really good way to sort of keep players on the hook and keep players engaged. I don't know how complicated that would be to patch in, but I think that would be a really smart addition to the game that would make it better for that. But yeah, at its full price, I think for some people this is probably going to be a hard sell in terms of the amount of content that's in it. Other people are going to think that's very fair and are going to get a huge amount of fun out of this. And for those people, I think this could be very interesting. You know, I say it all the bloody time that this would be, you know, oh wow, this would be a great Switch game. But honestly, I think this would, because it would be great, because it's great to play in short spurts, and it would be great in a portable setting. And this game is light enough fare that I'm sure it could run on the Switch without any problem whatsoever. That might be a good option for that. But as I record this, Valve also recently announced the Steam Deck, which is basically their idea of trying to make a Switch-like device for PC games. Something like this, absolutely fantastic on a device like that. Those devices are kind of made for games like this, and it could be very compelling on that. So what do I think about this? At the end of the day, I think it's a good endless runner. I like the theme of it. I like that it's space themed. I like that you're falling down as opposed to running to the right. I think the environments, especially these background objects, look great. I think the music, it's a little bit repetitive, but it's good and punchy, and you know, kind of that high. Oh, I unlocked an achievement there. You know, that sort of high energy thing that keeps you engaged. The controls are very responsive and very snappy. And yes, I'm playing on a ridiculously overpowered machine for this game, but it seems to run very well. So I imagine you could probably play this on a relatively lo-fi device, and it would be great for that. You know, games that are compatible with lo-fi devices as a little bit of a time waster for people are always a good thing. And I think it would be good for that. The one thing I would like to see is more levels, maybe some more differentiation in terms of the challenges each level offers, and some kind of real-time leaderboard integration to show you where you are relative to the leaderboard as you play, as opposed to afterwards. And right now you also have to go into the menu and go to the leaderboard to see your position. If it could not only show your real-time position, but after the round is over, actually do a check and say, okay, here's where you placed on the leaderboard. You know, go for the next position, that kind of thing. If they couldn't have it show it in real time as you play, like having it do it on this screen where it gives you your statistics to say, like, here's where you placed on the leaderboard. I think that would be a very smart idea. Again, those little hooks for player engagement, which is really what a game like this needs, in my humble opinion. So yeah, that is Descent Vector Space Runner. I believe it's only out for PC at the moment. I like it, but it's a little expensive for what it offers, and I think some players are going to have no problem with that, and some players are. You guys check it out. You know, you've seen what it is, so check it out and make up your own mind. But I think in terms of what the devs set out to accomplish, did a pretty good job on that front. So thank you all very much for watching. If you did like what you saw here, please do all the YouTube things, like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so that you can get notifications on future videos. Leave a comment down below and tell me what you think about this, if you think this is a good endless runner, what you think of the value proposition. Are there other good PC endless runners that you know of? Because I haven't played very many of them, and if there are others out there, I'd love to get examples of those. And what platforms would you like to see this on? Are you getting one of those Steam Decks? I'm not, but I'd love to talk to some people who are. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. And as always, you can follow me over at twitch.tv/pxabstraction for multiple variety streams a week, including a number of different indie games that we don't cover over here. It's a great community there. You know, we have good chill streams there, and I'd love to see you there. So thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you on the next episode of Indie Showcase. You folks have yourselves a good one. Take it easy, everybody.